Prime Minister Dean Barrow wrapped up the budget debate last night inside the National Assembly. One of the first criticisms that Barrow answered from the opposition, People's United Party, had to do with the Petrocarib funds and contracts awarded for infrastructural works.
Now, among the half-truths, untruths, falsifications and misrepresentations from the opposition, one stood out. That was the charge that the Petrocarib projects being implemented by bill had contracts awarded on the basis of cronyism. But, Mr. Speaker, that's why we put representatives of the National Trade Union Congress of Belize and the Chamber of Commerce on the bill board of directors to make absolutely sure of transparency, to guard completely against any possibility of HP, as your station like call it, hanky-panky. And those representatives will tell you that all these contracts were awarded on the basis of fair and open bidding. But, Mr. Speaker, Petrocarib bill, the government's fantastic public works program, this has so upended those on the other side that they're going bonkers to the extent now where they will indict the social partners. Because if hanky-panky there was, the social partners would have had to be a part of it. It is just completely nonsensical. It is a classic case of sour grapes. There is no doubt, indeed there is none, that the phenomenal spending, the giant investments that this government made in country and people, in fact, helped to propel us to this historic third term. But don't make it sticky now when you cross so much, man. We only got 4.5 years for it.
In his presentation, John Briceño, the leader of the opposition, said, quote, "There is nothing here that even attempts to encourage any entrepreneurial spirit, nothing that speaks about reining in government spending, nothing to make our people on the margins hope for a good year," end of quote. According to Briceño, in 2015, the economy grew by a meager 1.2%. Government of Belize overspent by more than $143 million, and the national debt will soon be at 80% of the GDP. Briceño also stated that, quote, "Over 39,000 Belizeans who want to work won't be able to get a job, and thousands more will join the workforce this summer," end of quote. PM Barrow reacted to Briceño's statement.
He put me in mind of the aphorism that Mark Twain attributed to Benjamin Disraeli. According to Twain, can be found nowhere in Disraeli's published writings, but according to Twain, Disraeli said, "There are 3 kinds of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics." Well, Mr. Speaker, in his perambulations, because he was all over the place, the leader of the opposition's claimed data fell into all 3 of Disraeli's categories. For example, he talked about what the average earnings in this country is, but he offered no source or authority for the figure he gave. Likewise, he said he had embarked on some sort of tax per dollar calculation for people's earnings. But in coming up with the number and in telling us how he did so, he used such outrageous sleight of hand that it required a scolding from the Minister of National Security, who is the only true economist in this House. It was not surprising then, Mr. Speaker, that when it came to our statistical Institute of Belize. The leader of the opposition cited them and their data with approval when it suited him. For example, the GDP growth, last 2 quarters, he was quick to say, this is what the SIB said, and they obviously are right. He used that to determine, fine economist that he is, that we're in a recession. The leader of the opposition had, in seeking to manipulate things, had the effrontery, the nerve, the gall, the temerity to talk about debt and to say, by way of complaint, that the debt to GDP ratio under the UDP is now almost 80%. Neglecting to say that when they left office, it was 92%. We took it though, going up again, but going up again, Mr. Speaker, because of the borrowings from Petro-Caribe.
In his final statement, Prime Minister Dean Barrow reiterated that the budget, dubbed Stability in a Time of Change, is timely and appropriate.
This is a budget providing for stability and continuity in the middle of changing circumstances. We have every confidence that the productive sector, the agro-productive sector, the commodities sector will recover and rebound. Meantime, we're going full tilt behind services, including tourism, which has taken off in a way that's unprecedented. And we know that after and immediately following upon this period of stability, Belize, under the United Democratic Party, will again see expansion like it has never seen before.
The Senate will debate the budget on Tuesday, March 29.